How are we doing, everyone? Now, just thought I might go in and make a video about another subject that I've been thinking about for a while, has been relating to a lot about how many men, such as myself, are personally going through around our age. Now, what I understand that a lot of guys go through at a certain point in their life, especially given that I am in approaching the later part of my 20s, is do I want to get married and do I want to have children? Now, here's the thing I come to notice is that the culture of marriage and having children has been so, how can I put it, corrupted and skewed nowadays that it really makes a lot of men, such as myself, around my age, question if it's really even worth it. See, there has been a trend that's been going on for, I would say, a few generations now, as far as my research has found, in which more and more young men are giving up the whole notion of getting married, having a lifelong partner, and having children. Now, there are some pros. I understand there's some pros and cons to marriage. One of the, but it seems as though there really isn't that much benefit nowadays for men to get married. Say the main reason why a lot of guys got married back then was because it was the only way in which they were able to go ahead and have sex to get with a woman. You know, back in the days with marriage, as far as your grandparents or your great grandparents' generation, if you were going to go ahead and have sex with a woman or get with a woman, you have to promise that she will be your lifelong partner. You have to go through her, you have to go through her family, and all these other people, and go through all these holes in order to be with a woman. But nowadays, relationships are just not the same. You know, it seems as though nowadays, with relationships now, and marriage especially, is more so gone ahead and deteriorated over the years to the point which now about 40 to 50% of all marriages end divorce. And even still, a lot of people who are married are not in happy marriages. And not only do the people who are in these unhappy marriages are suffering, but when they have children, their kids suffer too. And I have even experienced that personally growing up. As I said before in some of my previous videos, my parents' relationship and their marriage was, even though there were some great aspects to it, it was pretty tumultuous. They were, I can remember as a kid growing up when my favorite day of the week was Thursday because both my parents were not home. They were going to a therapy session or they were going to a group meeting or something. And I didn't get to see them arguing and sometimes fighting with each other. And my least favorite day of the week was Sunday because we would all go out as a family on the weekends, but there was no guarantee that it was going to be a good day when we were all get along with each other, or my parents would go at it with each other in the car or when we're going somewhere. So, see, growing up, my parents didn't necessarily give me a good foundation of what a good relationship is. Because as I come to understand over time, is that they didn't even have a good foundation within themselves. They were very insecure and very unhappy people that were afraid of being alone. As my dad said years ago, when I'm in a relationship, I feel loved and secure. But when I'm not in a relationship, I feel unloved and insecure. But I see this not only in people like him, but with many other people that I've come across in tumultuous relationships. That's the reason why they're in relationships, because they are using this other person to make them feel good about themselves. And that person that they're doing this to is doing the same for them. It's like when you have basically two leeches, two parasites that are sucking each other's blood until they basically suck each other dry. See, what I come to understand is this, is that in order for any relationship to really work, it's about understanding and appreciating the other person for who they are and helping them to become a better version of themselves. And you do the same for them. But a lot of relationships nowadays are really not like that. And it makes you think that, our society is so messed up with relationships between men and women, with modern day feminism saying that men are pigs, men are evil, and all this other stuff. And young girls are corrupted by this ideology. And then we have another thing called MGTOW or incels that are going at it with each other. And it's like there's not as much of a mutual respect between both genders as there used to be in order to create a foundation of a loving relationship. I consider myself to be a guy who has a lot of great potential with himself. I'm a very caring and loving person. I'm very honest and straightforward. I'm hardworking. And I invest time into myself in order to become the best that I can be. But it seems to me that when I look around at how most people are, I don't come across very many people who are like that. A lot of people they're too scared or they're just too lazy to make the best of themselves out of life. And with both men and women, it's like they don't want to put their best foot forward into making a relationship work. Because, as I said before, they're too lazy to do it or they're just too scared to do it. So, and I think about it like this, is that what's really more important in life to make you feel validated? Is it marriage and children, or is it your own personal development and understanding how the world is? Now, see, I remember I was looking into Buddhism for quite a while. And in Buddhism, the story of the Buddha, see, the Buddha used to be a man who was a noble prince in a kingdom in India. And he lived a very sheltered and pampered lifestyle growing up because of his father being a noble king. And he wanted his son to take over his kingdom and become an emperor ruling over many empires in India. So he had all of his pleasures satisfied, all the riches he could possibly have. And he also was married and he had, I think, 1 or 2 kids. But then he wanted to go ahead and see what the world was really all about beyond the palace walls. And he got to see that life is not all hunky-dory and nice and pleasurable. There are people that are suffering in this world. I remember when he was going beyond the palace wall with his escort on a horse chariot, he noticed over time he saw an old man, a dying man, and a man who was sick. So he got to see the imperfections and the sufferings of what goes on in the world and make him think, why does this stuff happen? What's the reasoning behind all this suffering in the world and age and everything else? So he realized eventually that he was living a life of an illusion to distract him from reaching his own full understanding and personal fulfillment in life. See, even I remember this. When he was born, a shaman said that he's either going to become a great king or an enlightened guru of some sort. And so after seeing this and understanding that his life that he lived, this pampered, rich, wealthy, noble lifestyle was an illusion, he decided around the age of 30 to abandon everything. He snuck off one night beyond the palace walls of where he was living. He left behind his children, his wife, all his riches, and his heir to the throne from his father's kingdom to live as a peasant and as a beggar, because he wanted to go out into the world and see what it's really all about and search for the truth. And he tried it out with several different gurus as far as understanding the meaning of life and the cause of suffering. But he tried several things and none of it worked. So he decided to go and search for the truth from within, deep contemplation and meditation, until he reached the point of enlightenment. And then he decided that my job in this world is to go ahead and to spread my message amongst others so that they can understand how to live life, and understanding that life is suffering, but we suffer because we have attachments to wanting things to be a certain way, among other things. So he went from the trajectory of living a pleasurable and hedonistic lifestyle to living a more wholesome and spiritual life. And see, our American society is a lot like that. It's hedonistic and materialistic and distracting us from achieving our own personal development and fulfillment from within. And we think that we can feel happy by marriage and children and a big expensive house and cars and all this other stuff. But as I said before, there are people that have all that and even more, and they're still not happy. So I think about it like this. What's more important to me right now? Is getting married and having children in this world today really is what's going to bring me happiness? Or should I just search from within and not buy into basically the bullshit of society? Because I realize there's a lot of bullshit everywhere. With what we've been taught in school, what we see on TV, through politicians, and most people just go ahead and they drink all this Kool-Aid. They buy into this matrix of some sort. Blue pill versus red pill. Blue pill meaning that you accept this matrix, this illusion of what life is about, even though it's not what life really is, and what is wholesome and substantial. Versus red pill, you don't buy into the bullshit and you think for yourself. I've been becoming more and more so red pill based on what I've seen online through guys that talk about what's going on in the world with men and women and relationships. And I've been saying to myself, you know what? I don't necessarily want in a marriage and having children to be happy. I got to make myself happy. I have to make myself happy first and know who I am. Or let's try it again. So my thing is that at this point now, I'm not even going to get myself together until I have more of a sense of who I am and what life is all about for me, what's suitable for me. And that I will want to go ahead and find myself a partner, a woman who understands and appreciates you in order to attract women. And that a woman is more attracted to a guy who's more so on a sense of purpose and direction in life, and is not trying to impress anyone else except for himself. I care about what other people think about me, myself, because most other people aren't really stable. They have nothing substantial really offered to your life, and you're even to actually care about you, as I said before. So why live your life trying to impress everyone else and trying to fit in this mold of what you should be based on what everyone else is doing, when you can just be true to yourself and choose to be happy in your own terms? Again, it's like I see people that have the standard American dream in life, and it's like they're not happy because they don't choose to be happy with themselves. They're trying to fill this hole, fill this void. That, oh, if I get married and have kids and I have this house and car and nice job, whatever, then I'll be happy. See, I know that having a job is important. Having a home is important. Having a car is important, but that's not the end all for happiness. You know, true happiness within, not based on what other people tell you to do and what to think. Because if you buy into everyone else as far as what they want you to do and what they want you to think or believe, you end up becoming this convoluted and confused person that's very insecure. And I don't want to be like that. Anyways, getting back to the subject, marriage and children or personal fulfillment. As of now, I think personal fulfillment is much more important than marriage and children. Especially, given to me that most women just honestly don't do anything for me. You know, it's just, I just think especially a lot of young girls around my age, they're too naive and immature and they're not well developed from within. I'm 26, I'll be 27. I don't have everything figured out yet, but I consider myself to be more well developed as a young man and as a person than many other people. And it's going to be very hard for me to find someone who has a similar level of personal development or is working on like I am. As I said before, most people are too scared or just too lazy to go to that level or want to go to that level. But that's fine. If I never have a partner who wants to go to that level, so be it. There are plenty of guys throughout history that have never even gotten married or had kids, and they went on to achieve bigger and better things with their lives. Like Leonardo da Vinci, a well-known painter and poly-talented man in a lot of subjects: biology, chemistry, architecture, weapons design, maps, philosophy. He was a brilliant, ingenious man, but he never had kids. He never had a long-term relationship with a woman. Isaac Newton, founder of modern day physics. He never had a relationship, never had children. But you know what? I think that, there's some guys that they might be attracted to women, but they don't see women as being a high priority or important to them because they have more of a bigger purpose in life than just a standard get married and have kids and then you die. They're about wanting to change things in the world. And they believe that in order for them to do so, they have to be by themselves and focus on what is it they really want to do with their lives. So my thing is this, guys. Focus on you. Focus on what makes you truly happy and how to love yourself and become secure in your own skin. Take time to invest in yourself and your understanding of who you are and how this world works. Then when you get that more so settled, see about finding yourself a potential partner that will have a similar understanding as you are. And if they're not up to that level, if they're not willing to basically work with your program, as I've heard other guys say, then just let them go. Understand that for the most part, you're by yourself throughout this journey of life anyways. And most people don't care about you. But when you're alone, you have more of the freedom to do what you want and to enjoy life on your own terms. And that's what I'm going to choose to do. Anyways, just some quick thoughts for tonight. Let me know what you guys think. If you appreciate what I have to say, of course, like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to share this to someone else who might appreciate what I have to say, you can go and share it with them. So anyways, I'll go and discuss some other topics possibly later on this week. But for now, I thought about just getting this off my chest for tonight. Anyways, peace out. Enjoy life in your own terms and don't get caught up in all the bullshit. Do your thing. Good night. What are you doing? I said end it.